Hey everyone, Whiplash here, and I felt like doing some live streaming today. And I'm starting off with Empyrion Galactic Survival by Elion Game Studios. If you're not familiar with this game, it is most commonly compared with Space Engineers, but it has much more of a focus on survival elements like eating, growing food, planetary threats, and so forth. It's a game where you start on a planet and earn your way, you build a base and build a ship and earn your way into space. And then when you're into space, there's other planets to explore. There's like a space station and a couple of other things. So it's a little similar to how Space Engineers works when you start on a planetary start, but again, much more emphasis on survival. I've been playing on hard, and I did toy with the idea of doing a stream on hard, but it would be extremely grindy, and it's a lot of luck of the draw. Because you start with a low amount of deposits, it's quite possible to have a key resource be like directly underneath a heavily fortified enemy position and making it very hard for you to continue. A lot of restarting required before I got a hard game that really went well for me. So I'm going to put it on medium, but I'm going to do something to make it a little more challenging because that's the way I like to play these games. I'm going to put the escape pod content on hard. This means I will start with the minimal amount of starting equipment. I will have no ores to start with. I will only have an emergency oxygen generator, which produces oxygen very slowly. So at the beginning of the game, you have a very nomadic existence while you're wandering around, trying to find one of each of the key resource deposits, trying to keep yourself fed and in oxygen until you can actually get those resources, build a base, and so forth, and expand from there. I've been doing this in hard, so this should be a cakewalk for me, really. Everything else is on the normal default settings. It's going to be a survival. I'm going to start an Omicron. There's two planets you can play on, either Aqua, or maybe Aqua, I'm not sure, or Omicron. Omicron has non-breathable atmosphere, so it's considered the more challenging starting position. So again, I'm just trying to do something a little hard here, but not too crazy. Something that I can actually succeed at and not have to restart a bunch of times. I'll just randomize the seed here. Sure, I guess that'll do. I'll call this one Streaming 1. This is my first time streaming a game in a while. I did stream it when it first came out. Alright, so again, starting on Omicron with default settings, except I'm going to start with the lowest amount of starting gear. So as the game starts here, you come crashing in on a planet in a escape pod. And again, very minimal equipment. My first objective is going to be to find resources and get my oxygen generator going. The resources I would like to find first would be, what was that beeping sound, I wonder? Oh, the stream might stutter for a second. This game, when you're starting, I think I should wait to talk until it's done loading because it's really going nuts on the hard drive. Alright, there we go. Oh, magnesium, excellent. What I was just trying to say when my computer got a little overloaded there. The resources I'm looking for first would be magnesium, iron, and promethium. Magnesium because when you start on this start, you only start with 150 bullets, and making bullets requires iron and magnesium. So that's a beautiful find to start with right there. And promethium so that I can keep myself in power. But I really need to find all 6 of the basic resources as early as possible in order to actually start doing any kind of building. Because I start with nothing, which you're about to see. This is your starting gear on hard. It's very Spartan. Just have a drill and a chainsaw and a pistol with 150 rounds. I have 2 biofuel to feed my drill, so I'll have to actually farm seaweed early on before I can do too much drilling. I have a survival constructor and an emergency O2 generator. This is a little different than the normal O2 generator. It doesn't go in water. It supposedly sucks oxygen out of the atmosphere. Even though this planet does not have a breathable atmosphere, it is feasible that there is some oxygen in it, I suppose. So, let me just take a look here where this deposit is. I'm going to set my oxygen generator down right now. This thing produces at such a slow rate that it's really important to have it going all the time. I'm just going to power it with one cell. That'll give it about 45 minutes of time because I'll probably end up moving it by the time it has run out of power. For right now, we're just trying to get some oxygen generating because I have only what is in my tank right now and no extra. And I'm going to go ahead and put the motorbike construction kit here into the constructor right away. The constructor is where you can do all your crafting. There's different tabs here for food, weapons and bullets and so forth, devices and so forth. But for right now, all I can really do is make the motorbike, which is used for initial game exploration. Very important on this kind of minimalistic start so you can explore quickly around the planet. But while that goes, I'm going to start mining some of this magnesium. Looks like I can come in it from the side over here. Alright, there we go. Hit the pocket already. So magnesium, again, most commonly used for making bullets. It's also part of some different food recipes for things for curing stomach problems and so forth. But a big find early. If I wanted to find anything first, it was going to be magnesium and or iron. Really, both of them are the first two that I'd like to find. But promethium also. Those three are really most important to getting myself started and rolling. I'm not sure how much of this I'm going to get. You get like a 2-to-1 ratio on ores to the final product. I think if I had about 100 magnesium dust or pellets or whatever they're called, once you break them down. So 50 ore is probably a good starting point. I do have to find all 6 resources, and I don't want to burn up all my biofuel on too many individual resources, so just get enough here to be able to make some extra bullets, and then we're going to hit the motorcycle and go do some exploring. I enjoy this game a lot. I think it's too bad that it doesn't have more recognition. A lot of people see it as a bit of a Space Engineers ripoff, but it is really quite different than Space Engineers because of the survival elements. And you'll get to see some of that as we make a base and start building other things. But that's going to take a little while, probably about an hour. How much have I got here now? 58. That is more than enough. I'll turn my jetpack on here. Okay, let's take a look at the map real quick. These flat areas are very nice for motorcycle travel. Areas like I'm in right now are not so much because these like ravines they come up on you quick and then you just crash into them. So for early exploration, I'm going to probably want to get over here and drive around in this area, see what I can find. I also would like to ultimately set my base up near a large lake. Because then I can, I'm going to need water source for some of the different crafting and resources, and also I can regularly farm seaweed. Although I won't have as much a need for that in the late game. So I think I'm going to come down here first and just take a peek what's over here and then head this way and ride around. Also going to the east first will be better because the sunrise, the way the sun works in this game, you can actually outpace the sun. And the sun is going this way right now, so this will buy me daytime. If I was to go this way, I would easily get into the night side before the sun got there. So I could start this way and then move back over the other way. And we got our motorcycle. So again, that's just a simple kit you can put in and redo it right away. Later you can make one of these yourself. It doesn't take a lot of resources. Certainly iron and copper at the very least. I can pick this up, and we've got a couple oxygen bottles, and I'm going to leave this here like I said. I'll be able to find it easily because it's right by this deposit, and we'll work our way back here later in the day to pick up whatever bottles have been produced. So I want to go this way. I'm going to use the motorcycle, but to start with, not in this type of terrain. I'll show you how you can use the jetpack here for some, if you're careful. You've got to... You want to try not to land at high speed is the big thing. So if you just kind of feather it, sometimes you can just kind of, just by tapping it like this, keep yourself afloat for a fairly long time. It's pretty nice. Just takes a little getting used to. Jump this ravine quick. Oops, you see I took a little damage. You gotta be a little careful. That was a little risky there. And another magnesium deposit. Well, I would like to have found something else, but actually I'm trying to go this way. I'm trying to save my jetpack when I'm in the air for when I'm about to hit the ground and give a little burst to try to make sure that I come down softly whenever possible. Sprinting can also, because it really gives you that extra speed, so I could talk about some of these resources you can gather. I see some stuff already. Well, the sugarcane not so much, but fibers. Here we go. Fibers are useful. You can combine fibers with aloe vera, and in fact here's some aloe vera right here, and I'll be able to combine those to make bandages. So anytime I see those things, there's some more fiber. There's also a type of cactus, and there's also some types of oranges on this road you can grab for food. Okay, Promethium. Let's head towards that. That's one of the more important ores I wanted to find early again. Promethium is your power ore. It converts into pellets, which you use to make into these fuel packs. As you see, I only start with like 3, so... Again, magnesium, promethium, and iron are just so critical at the beginning. Oh, here's some space oranges. I'll grab some, so I have a little extra food. One problem with eating the native food off the planet raw is that it's prone to give you food poisoning pretty heavily. This is also another type of food you can eat, those weird looking tentacle plants. So the sooner I can get to like actually cooking food in a food processor, the better for my overall health. But at the beginning here, when I don't have any food, that's better than nothing. So it's time to break out the motorcycle, even though I'm close. I didn't get to show this yet. I love this thing. This is one of the coolest new additions they added to the game recently. Only get to see it a little bit here, but I will be tooling around this thing quite a bit in the near future. But right now, seeing as we found some promethium, we need to mine it as soon as possible. Just do a little quick organizing here. So I could already make a bandage. I don't really need it yet, though. I got some food going. I guess I could eat some of this right away. My food's starting to go down a little bit, as well as my oxygen. So I have to keep on top of these as much as possible. And you know, I only have one more O2 bottle here, so as you can see, I need to get back to that generator by the time I run out again. Won't be a problem though. It's not far away, and I've done this before. I know what I'm doing. So, all right. I think the same with the promethium. This one is each individual ore will ultimately craft into one pack. Each ore becomes 10 pellets, and then it requires 10 pellets for each pack. So I don't need like a shit ton to start. I can come back here. I'll probably get about 50, maybe a little less. When I dig down, I generally dig straight down a little bit, and then I try to go around the edge like this to make the top of the hole wide enough to be able to get out easily. Sometimes if you dig deep enough, it can be a little tricky to get out, but there's always ways around that as long as you have enough fuel for your drill. If you are in a deep hole and you run out of fuel for your drill, God help you. There is always the suicide option. This game also has a progression system and technologies and stuff, which I'll get into when I actually have some points to spend, but as you can see, there's different categories like base, vessels, tools and weapons, and as you get levels you can unlock new recipes for building things. But what was this? Did I end up dropping something? Oh, I guess I dropped my rations without meaning to. Alright, let me just try to get this, maybe not even a full 50, maybe even just 30 or so. Because I do want to try to find every deposit as quickly as possible. I can't really do shit for building until I can make a base. And I will need at least iron, copper, and probably some silicon, and also cobalt probably. I really think I'll need all 4 things to actually make any kind of base, really. Other than just like a real basic platform without any real, you know, I'd still have to go out and get more resources then anyway, so. Let's climb out of here real quick. Alright, yeah, I think that'll be enough. That's like about 40 to 50 packs. So again, like I said, now you can see it's starting to get dark even over here. So actually, I want to get over there before it gets too late and circle around this area. See if there's anything to be found. Doo-doo-doo. Oh, copper. Nice. Alright. Well, that's 3? No, that's the first real metal resource I found. Copper's what I want to have a lot of. I might try to get, I don't know, 60 to 75 ore of this. Oops, I went past it. In order to save time for later as well, before I start digging this, I'm going to go ahead and start processing some of this stuff. Let's see here. Here we go. Just do a little bit of each of them for now. Copper is probably the second most used resource behind iron. If I was going to talk about ratios that you need for building, you know, if you had, say, 200 iron, I would say you'd want to have at least 150 copper and 100 each of cobalt and silicon as ratios. So if I was going for 200 iron, is that what I said? Yeah, 200 iron, 150 copper, and about 100 each of the others. At least 2 to 1 iron over most things, but copper is also very useful. Yeah, how are we doing? Well, 50, I want to get a little more. I'm going to try to get about 75, I think. That would be about 150 ingots. That should tie me over for a little while. Then we do have to get out and try to find iron and cobalt and silicon yet. Preferably all on the same day, but it's more likely I'm going to reach a point where, well, it depends on how I travel and what I find. But I may reach a point where I have to just wait out a night somewhere while I'm doing some crafting and unlocking things. Alright, 70 I think is good for start. Oops. Here's an example. It's getting a little tricky to get out of here, but if I just, as I'm climbing, use the drill a bit to kind of make myself a little bit of a ramp, gets you out. Let's see. Oh, these early... You know, I'm going to actually knock out this first PDA thing. Okay. I already knocked out the first one. I've already placed a generator, so I'll get that one later. So... yeah, let's just pick all this up quick. Oh, it's going to be plenty dark over there now, but I still want to get over there because it's so easily travelable. If there's resources around there, that'll be a nice place for working. So I'm going to just work my way to that other flat area here before it gets too late. Be careful here. Oh, another promethium deposit. Interesting. Sadly, not what I'm looking for. I would rather see iron, cobalt, or silicon. And I would use the motorcycle here, but I can see this terrain is not going to be very good for that. Ooh, gotta be careful. I don't want to take any more damage if I can help it. Oh, that heartbeat is because I used all my stamina. It'll go away once it recharges a little bit. There are alien threats on these worlds as well. In the first day, you generally don't see them too much, but within a day or two, I'm going to start seeing like these nasty spiders and kind of even more nasty spiders. They're called arachnids. They are like, they kind of look like a armored scorpion spider. Very bad. And again, I only have 150 bullets, so I have to be careful in the early game here to make sure that I don't... oh, there's some enemies right there. They're not really enemies. Those are kind of a food animal you can hunt. Not naturally threatening to you. Not important right now, though. Again, until I at least find iron to mix with my magnesium to make bullets. I was hoping I could make it out here far enough I think this will do. I'm going to do a quick circle around this area to see if there's anything to be found. Then I'm going to start heading back towards the magnesium to get my bottles. And then I guess we'll work to the west at that point, because that'll be working with the sun. Oh, there's one of those cactuses I was talking about right there, but I'm trying to save time and explore as quickly as possible here, so I'll leave it for now. Alright, one thing I can see that's going to drive me nuts I need to do real quick is turn these in-game hints off. It doesn't remember the setting. Every time you start a new game, they're always there, and it's annoying watching that pop up all the time and feel like I'm playing No Man's Sky. Oh, I just found something. More copper. Whoops. I apologize if I'm getting a little bit of a low frame rate here. It does seem like it. Oh, shit. I wasn't looking at the radar and a drone attacked me. That red crisscross in the upper right corner is a drone. That's one of the natural enemies on the planets. And I wasn't paying attention to that. Thankfully he didn't do much damage. Not ready to take those on until I can make more bullets. I guess I'm gonna start working back towards the promethium and hope or the magnesium, where my generator is. Traveling right into the sun, which is kind of shitty. Yeehaw! Oh, if I go in the water, yep, you lose the bike and then it goes frickin' flying. Fortunately, it's not a problem to breathe underwater because I have, because it's a non-breathable atmosphere. I am, already wearing a helmet all the time, and there's some more damage I need to take. Hey, Napago, how you doing, man? Good to see you. How are you doing? This is a pretty neat game. It's sort of like Space Engineers with more survival elements. I've also been itching to play Space Engineers. I may play that later if this doesn't go that well. This game is not really that popular, and it's kind of a crying shame because it's actually worthy of more attention than it's getting, in my opinion. Well, I'm just getting over a nasty cold, Napago, to answer your question. Last 2 weeks or so, I've had just a wicked chest cold. There's the magnesium, okay. But I wanted to get back into the swing of things with streaming because we are getting very close to the release of 7 Days to Die Alpha 15. And I will undoubtedly be streaming that when it comes out. So, you know, I was playing this anyway and I thought I might as well record or stream it, see if anyone shows up. I often feel that way when I'm playing something anyway. It's just like, well, why don't I just record it just in case? Well, I did find 3 of the basic resources here this first day. Let me just do a quick arrangement to make sure if I'm seeing this right. Yeah. So I still need to find iron and cobalt and silicon before I can actually build. That's not bad for the first day. Oh god, I gotta be careful here. Don't want to take any more damage. Excuse me. Yeah, the cold part's not good, you're right. I don't want to get those yet. They might, some of the stuff you can get in this game is perishable. So I'm not really in the mood to do much foraging until I actually get a fridge and so forth from a base. At this early stage of the game, especially on the harder start, what you need to do is find all 6 resources, as I keep saying. Sorry I'm repeating myself, I just don't know what the fuck to talk about. Hey, Southern Rebel, how you doing? I meant that it's not that popular to me on Twitch or YouTube. I don't see a lot of content for it. I even searched before I started playing and saw there was only like one other person even playing Space Engineers right now. Ah, Empyrion, excuse me. That's what I meant. I wish that it had more recognition. Yeah, a lot of those servers are empty, unfortunately. I hope I don't get food poisoning here. That would really suck. Just gonna eat a bunch of this crap up, and I think I'm gonna continue traveling to the west and try to beat the sunset. Still do some exploring rather than just hunker down anywhere for the night. In which case, I'm probably going to pick this up and take it with me because I might not come back this way for a while. If I find any resources out this way, I'll be working there for a while. I did generate 5 oxygen bottles, so that's almost enough for a full load. I will want to get this thing put down as soon as possible. The next resource patch that I find, I'll stack it down again. And then I'll work back to that location as I did with the magnesium this first day. For right now, I would sure like to find some iron, or cobalt, or silicon. Taking risks here with the jetpack. Ugh. Galactic PvP PvE Adventures Rentech 2.0 server has HWS NA server and a lot of people in their servers. Well, thank you for mentioning that. I was thinking about playing multiplayer, but there were so many servers to choose from. I just kind of didn't bother that day when I looked at it. So now you've given me a reason to look at one of them in specific. I'll check it out. There's some more fiber. I should be grabbing this stuff as I'm exploring because it'll be very useful. Cobra leaves I'm not going to pick up just yet. Another magnesium deposit. Well, finding a lot of duplicates. I found 3 promethium, 2 copper, and 2 magnesium, but I need other things. I think what I'm going to do here is travel along the lake shore and work my way into this flat area where I can do some more biking. Oh, this is a little dangerous here. Using the jetpack as carefully as I can to try to speed up my journey time. Oh, risky! Ah, I knew that was gonna hurt. I knew it. I fucked up. Oh, and there's a drone.